Hi and welcome to another Tutorial Tuesday. So today I'm going to be making a romantic card. It could be a wedding card, it could be a save the date card, or even a Valentine's Day card, a happy wedding anniversary. I'm going to be using two die cut sets. This is First Dance by Tonic and this dynamic border set as well. To die cut my pieces today, I thought I would try a new machine. This is the Xpress Craft Machine. As you can see, it's very portable. It's got that great big handle to grab it, and this is the mechanism that you would turn to use it. What I like the most about this machine is its format. Let me open this up. You can actually use a sheet of 8.5 by 11, so you can use larger dies, which is one big plus. All you need to do is adjust that dial, and that controls the roller that's here inside the mechanism here. So as I'm turning the wheel, you'll see that the roller is moving. See it going up and down. So that's how you adjust depending on what kind of die you're using. The machine comes with three basic plates. It's got that thick plate right here, which is the base plate. Then it has the cutting pad, and it also comes with a metal sheet. Now the metal sheet is used to cut heavy duty stuff like fabric, for instance, where it's a little tougher to cut. But for paper and cardstock, you shouldn't have a need for this. So for today, of course, I'm going to be using only these two because we're going to be cutting through cardstock. And of course, it comes with instruction booklets in countless languages, and inside of this you will find the recipe for all the dies that you could possibly use, and it tells you exactly how to calibrate the machine, meaning how to turn the dial so that you have proper calibration for cutting the best way possible. The other thing you need to remember, you can just like put your fingers inside these enclosures and lift each side. Each of these panels come off, and here it says unlock and lock. So this is in the locking position. So right now these things are quite sturdier. You can't really close the machine that way. So it's a little bit more stable. And all you need to do is just put the plates back and you're good to go. So I know that from looking at my sheet, I need to place my dial between between 4 and 5. So 4.5. according to the directions here. So cardstock 4.5 to 5. So I have already used it, and I know that at 4.5 I'm good with what I'm cutting. Here are the cardstock that I'm going to be using. These are metallic cardstock. I have kind of like a champagne color and a white. Today's card is going to be a larger card. What I did is I took a sheet, it's 8.5 by 11, and I have just scored it at 5.5. So essentially the card will be 5.5 by 8.5. On another piece of white shimmer cardstock, this is where I'm going to be cutting some of the pieces. So the first die that I want to cut is the bride and groom with this frame. Now let me talk to you really briefly about this die set. I thought when I first got it that it was just 3 frames with images inside, but it's in fact 6 frames. So you've got frames with images and just frames with just like decorative borders, so you can interchange them as you wish. So in essence it's actually 6 frames and not just 3. But I'm going to be using these two for now with the white cardstock. I'm going to first put my die face down. I'm going to put both of them at the same time. I'm going to be cutting both of them. And of course I will have to secure them together to the cardstock. So I have a bit of washi tape. Let me just zoom in. I have a bit of washi tape here that I'm going to use to hold the die in place onto the cardstock like this, and at the bottom here. So now that I have my die securely in place onto my cardstock, and note also that the die is with the cutting side face right onto the cardstock. So I'm going to flip that over, put that on my base plate, and then I'm going to use the cutting pad over that. So I'm just going to simply roll that just like I would any other machine, the Cuttlebug, the Big Shot. And here is my beautiful frame with the bride and groom inside. So here we go. So it cuts the inside decoration as well as the frame all around it. Look how beautiful that is. I have little pieces here that I can remove simply by poking them with my paper piercer. It just comes off really well. And as you can see, I didn't have to fuss with shims or anything like that. It just cut beautifully. So I have a nice clean cut. How gorgeous is that? Okay, so the bride and groom are ready. I'm going to be cutting into the base of the card front right here, and that I can do because the machine is a large format. So I'm going to move on to the other die that I want to use, which is this one. Now on this one I'm not going to use another frame around it because otherwise it'll just cut the piece out completely and leave me with just a rectangle. So I'm going to omit that. I'm just going to use the inside of the frame, and that's just going to cut an opening with some nice details on it. I'm just going to flip my plates around because I'm used to that. Okay, so my card will open this way, and I want this piece. There's a bird on it, so I want to make sure that the bird is facing the right way. So I'm going to put the cutting side face down right onto my the front of my card. Now I know that I want to use something else at the bottom. Also, I want to incorporate a ribbon. So what I'm going to do is put the frame a little bit higher than the center. I don't want it like dead in the center because I need to leave room at the bottom. So same way, I'm going to secure that with washi tape. And I don't like measuring, so I'm just going to basically eyeball it. I'm going to flip that over, just like I did earlier. I'm going to put the cutting pad again right over this. Now because the cardstock is 8.5 by 11, it's a tad, like a hair fraction larger than the base plate, but just make sure that you don't have a lot overhanging because it will catch in the machine. But if you center everything, you should be fine. So I'm going to roll that again. And look how gorgeous this is. Whoops, I have little random bits and pieces that are left. I just poke them out. And look how gorgeous. Look at that beautiful opening. Love it. So the last die I want to cut is this one with the heart inside, and I'm going to use also kind of like the scallopy wavy border. This time I want to cut both as well because I do want something that I can extract and not just an opening. So I'm going to be placing again these two frames on my white shimmer paper cardstock this time, and I'm going to line them up so that the frame that's inside is has the same amount of space on all sides. I'm going to tack this down with the washi tape. Okay, so same thing as before. I'm going to flip that over, put it on my base plate, take the cutting pad and just roll that in the machine. This one is pretty too. All of the the 6 frames, by the way, they're really pretty. And you don't need to use the bride and groom if you don't want to. You can match them with anything that will fit in a window, which is the beauty of this die set. So look how gorgeous this is. Beautiful with that nice delicate heart. Now the heart, don't discard it because we're going to use it for inside the card. So there's the frame and there's the little heart. Whoops, there's the heart, so I'm going to use that. The last die cut that I'm going to be using is the Die-namics. It is called triple scallop borders, and I want 2 of these borders, so I'm just going to cut the whole piece because it's just easier. And of course I'm not going to have to secure that. So here are my 3 borders. I'm only going to be using the larger one and the smaller one. So this one I can reuse for another project. Okay, so now I'm going to remove my machine. I'm done with the die cut and we'll assemble the card. One reminder, if before you put the machine away, if you realize that this is not closing, don't force it. It's because you need to unlock the 2 sides. So again, remove the plates, slide this over to the unlock position on both sides. Replace the plates and you can close it and you're done. So I've got all my pieces laid out now, so I'm just going to reinforce the fold with a bone folder. I'm going to show you a trick on how to line up pieces that you want to put inside when you have an opening like this. There are 2 ways that you can do that. I could very well take this piece and glue it to the back here, like so, and so when you turn the card over, the bride and groom would be peeking through the window. But I want more depth, so what I want to do is add this piece on the inside of the card so that when the person opens the card, there's still something to look at inside. It's not such a blank space. And I want it popped. Now the tricky part here is that these sides are quite slim, but if you are patient and you use your scissors to cut smaller pieces of your foam squares, it's doable. Okay, and what I'm going to do is take my frame, open my card to the front. Once I'm happy with the position, I'm going to close the card, press it down, and there you go. The frame is in place and you can see that it's positioned well through the front. I love that. Okay, so now I'm going to glue this other frame on top of here. When you're gluing this frame, be mindful of where you're putting your adhesive, keeping in mind that the inside frame here will most probably fall in an opening, and you don't want any exposed adhesives because then you risk the chance of getting the front of your card stuck to the inside pieces. So what I did is I only added adhesive to the outside frame right there. Okay, so this time it's just a matter of lining everything up. Tap it in place, and there you go. So it's a good way to have a lot of intricate designs and add depth to your card. So you have this frame which sits on top of your card, then you have the opening frame which is directly on the card base, and then you have the bride and groom inside. How pretty is that? So next up, I'm going to add those 2 borders here at the bottom, like so. For this, I'm just going to use regular adhesive. So I got my 2-sided tape gun here, and I'm going to have to trim on each side. What I want to do is leave enough space to add the ribbon. So this border here will be about, I would say, 3/4 of an inch from the bottom, and I want to center this so that I have the same kind of design from one side to the other. And then I'm going to add the smaller one on top. Now this border, I'm going to offset it a little bit just to make a more interesting design. like so. And if it doesn't go all the way to the edge here, just take your trimmer and make a nice clean cut, which I will probably do. So I'm going to take my scissors and cut this side first. And I'm going to take my paper trimmer to trim this side here because I want a nice clean edge. No one will ever know. There we go. Clean. Okay, next I have a piece of white ribbon, and I want to wrap this around the card. Obviously, I can't wrap it around this way because you can't open the card. So I'm gonna have to make a slit here. So I'm gonna take the ribbon and put it where I want to. And with a pencil, I'm just gonna mark the width of the ribbon on the fold of the card. See, I've made 2 little dots here. I'm gonna take my X-Acto knife and just cut on the fold, joining these 2 dots. So now I have an opening and I can slide the ribbon through it. I'm just going to keep that ribbon in place so that it doesn't shift too much. So I'm going to add a little bit of glue here. You can add it directly on the ribbon if you want to. For this, you could also use a glue dot if you want to. So just to tack it down, keep it in place, and then I'm going to come around to the front and tie a knot. There we go. And I'm just going to keep that in place with a mini glue dot. I'm just going to tack that down here and trim the tails. I'm going to take a bit of glue to add the heart inside the card. It doesn't have to be aligned with the heart on top. There you go, that's good. And of course, we need a touch of bling, right? So I have the diamond stickles, and I'm gonna do the shape of the heart with the stickles. Just the outline. And I'm going to also add a bit of stickles on the heart inside. I think I'm going to do one more thing. I'm going to round off the corners of this. So I'm going to take my crocodile. This is the 1/2 inch corner rounder on this side. Just going to round off the corners just to give it more of a softer look because it is a big card. So there's our card. Quick and easy and very elegant. So I hope you've enjoyed this tutorial. If you have any questions or comments, as usual, feel free to leave them below, and we will catch you next week.